Hey guys, it's Carrie and Zach here from the Coffee N KOs Crew. And Zach, I got a question for you. You ever wake up on a Sunday morning and think, man, I'll cook the family some breakfast this morning?
Yeah, time or two.
Have you ever noticed how you throw the sausage links up on the griddle to one side, you throw the eggs up on the griddle to the other side? You never cook them touching.
No, you don't ever want them to touch. It's weird.
Yeah, I agree, man. And it got me to thinking, why do we do that with our underwear?
I have no idea. That's a really good question.
Yeah, I think it is too. But let me tell you, fellas, Sheath has solved that problem. They have come out with men's underwear with not one, but two pockets to keep your eggs and sausage separated.
Thank goodness this has been a problem for way too long. I can't believe it took, I'm 26 years old, 26 years at least, to come up with something so intelligent. The material is great. Everything about Sheath underwear is amazing. And what's even better, we have a promo code. Promo code Coffee N KOs. If you use the promo code Coffee, the letter N, KOs, at checkout, you get 20% off your entire order. It's a hell of a deal. And let me tell you, the underwear are well worth it. So make sure you go to sheathunderwear.com. Promo code Coffee N KOs. Make sure you separate the sausage and the eggs. And make sure you sheath your dagger. Sheathunderwear.com. Coffee and KO's promo. 20% off. Go get yourself the most comfortable underwear in the world. And don't forget to sheath your dagger.
Ladies and gentlemen, Fight Bananas presents Coffee and KOs Outside the Octagon. We're crazy about fights and jacked on caffeine. Ladies and gentlemen,
It's time!
tonight's main event is scheduled for one 30-minute interview. Interviewing out of the red corner, the Coffee KOs crew. Being interviewed out of the blue corner, Justin, the Guitar Hero Jaynes. Hey, Justin, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, man, my pleasure. Hey, by the way, what an incredible underwear ad. That was fucking funny as hell.
We appreciate that. That's actually our first sponsorship and our first promo cut. So,
Badass.
hopefully we get more where that comes from. But first off, I got to say, I am damn jealous of you. You're outside, sunglasses on, palm trees behind you, and where we just got a 3-foot snowstorm. So pretty jealous of you.
I tell you what, I just first time I've come outside today, and it is fucking cold. I'm like fucking bundled up over here. Usually I have a nice background, have the palm trees and the trees in the background, blue sky, but it looks like a big storm's coming in right now. It's probably only 50 degrees here, so I'm gonna grit this out, man, in the freezing cold. So what's going on?
Nothing much, man. Just getting ready for the fights this weekend, and we normally start our interviews with, "Are you a coffee guy?"
Oh, hell yeah, man. I just got a Keurig, this Black Death coffee or something like that, or Death coffee is what I've been hooked on as of lately, especially my fight camps, man. I'm a caffeine addict. As soon as I wake up, have my shot of coffee. Then after I train, then I have another pot of coffee. And, sometimes I think I drink too much. I get sick from it if I drink a couple pots in a day. So, I'm trying to wean off a little bit. I'm trying to wean off the energy drinks, but coffee's my substitute.
I feel like the Death Wish coffee, because I've looked at that kind of intimidated me. Like, I love coffee. Don't get me wrong. I drink tons of coffee, but that looks like a whole nother level of coffee addict. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet.
It's really expensive, man. And I really almost didn't get it just because of the price for a little, thing about this big is like $20. But I tell you what, man, I get jacked for all my training sessions and, or whatever I'm just doing for that day. Maybe I want to take my dirt bike out, fucking chug a pot. I'm fucking good to go.
So is that something that you do in like your spare time? Is you just like ride dirt bikes and stuff? Do you have like a lot of land on where you're living and stuff that you can do that?
In Las Vegas, there's not, but like 80% of Nevada is government land that you can. I mean, it's just fucking desert. So there's a lot. There's tons of trails, and when I'm not fighting or training, I love riding on my dirt bike. I love hunting. I love fishing. Anything outdoorsy. I'm looking up over here at the mountain. I can see it's about an hour away. We got snow on the top of the mountain. I'm going to get up there snowboarding this week. Man, yeah, I'm an adrenaline junkie, man. I'm a thrill seeker, so anything that can get the heart going, I'm ready to go. Dude, there's so much shit to do here. Hunt, fish. I got Lake Mead 30 minutes away. I got Mount Charleston, 45 minutes away. You go snowboarding. I got prime mule deer hunting 2 hours away. I got prime elk hunting 2 hours away. Try to ram 30 minutes away, man. It's just never ending over here with the adrenaline rush. People ask why I fight. It's so I can afford my hobbies. I have expensive hobbies, man. So, I got to keep fighting so I can keep affording them.
Did you move out there? Because you're not originally from there. Did you move out there knowing that there was just all that shit out there that you could do?
I actually didn't really. I moved out here like 8 years ago, and it took me like 2 years to discover how much there was to do out here. From the Dirty D, Detroit Lions, let's go. Moved out here in 2012, so 9 years ago. And just through the years, I've met people and they've introduced me. I've always loved to hunt and fish and ride my ATVs and stuff. So, just in the last couple of years, I've really gotten into it. Brian Caraway, former UFC fighter, him and I ride a lot. Johnny Case, who's in the PFL right now. Brad Tavares and he's still in the UFC. He introduced me to spearfishing out here. Dude, it's just a gang of good guys out here that have shown me the ropes, and I fell in love with it.
I won't hold it against you that you're a Lions fan. I'm a Bears fan, so
Well, we both feel each other's pain at least. You know what I mean?
yeah. How are you feeling about Jared Goff as your new QB?
I'm optimistic. We're talking about Jared Goff, a stud quarterback coming out, out of college. He's 26 years old. I think he has a lot of potential. Is he as good as Stafford? Nobody's as good as Stafford. Stafford's the best quarterback the Lions have ever seen. But 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and Jared Goff. I'm hoping Goff fits the scheme. This new head coach is our new head coach was a former tight end coach. We got Hawkinson at tight end. Hopefully, they can make some chemistry there and make it like a Brady Gronk duo. Again, this is pure optimism. I'm a huge Stafford fan. I was bummed to see him go, but he's 32 years old, man, and he's taking a lot of hits. And I'd love to see Stafford win a championship with a different team. I hope he just doesn't get to the Rams and just get slaughtered because the guy has so much potential. But back to the Detroit Lions. My favorite team, ride or die. Let's go, Jared Goff.
Yeah, I hear you. Bears, the Bears break my heart every year, so I can't really talk too much shit because we literally are in the same boat, it seems, every year.
Sure.
Cellar dwellers.
Sometimes the beginning of the year is so promising, and a couple years ago, Lions start off like 3 or 4-0. I was like, hell yeah, this is it. And then they end up having a losing record. They go like fucking 11-4, and it's like, God damn it, how do you win 4 games and lose the rest of the season? I don't get it, but it is what it is. It's called Lions football.
So you let us in on the fact that you're quite the outdoorsman, but your nickname is the Guitar Hero. Are you into video games, or where'd that come from?
Man, I've never even played guitar before. Long story short, I was kind of boring early on in my amateur career, and I was looking for gimmicks. And my college roommate, I don't remember if it was Darren Cruikshank or Corey Michaelitis, dared me to put the guitar around my neck and come out and strut and strum the guitar as if I was coming to the cage. And I did it, and I did a couple other things. But in my UFC debut last year, I labeled my name as Justin Jaynes, and Bruce Buffer announced me as a guitar hero, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm the guitar hero again. So we got lives.
Yeah. So what's that? What is I always want to know. So you had Carey, who's over here to my right. You can't obviously see him because he's the more the producer. But you had him give you an intro, and then you had Bruce Buffer, obviously give you an intro. What's that like? Do you get like just this crazy adrenaline rush when like Bruce Buffer, the man, is giving you your intro?
Yeah, man. The first time it was so surreal. Like it was like a dream, man. Like Bruce Buffer, he's he's a legend in combat sports. The Buffer family is a legend in combat sports. Michael Buffer, Bruce Buffer. Like, yeah, I mean, he's announced me 3 times now in the cage. Super cool guy, super exciting. And, the best part about Bruce is he has so much energy and he gives you energy. Like when he's looking at you and he's pointing at you, he's radiating all that energy and emotion into you. And it's like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Did you get a fist bump from him? Because I know he does fist bump guys once in a
Yeah,
while.
I fist bumped a couple times.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's what gets me hyped. Not only him like saying the name, but then when he goes over to the fighter and like gets in their face and then gives them the fist bump, like that is the shit.
It doesn't get any better than that. It's probably my favorite feeling being in the UFC.
So I gotta ask, how's the eye doing? So obviously, like we watch every single card, we see it all. It looks much better now than it did in the octagon. So how, like, take us through that. Were you able to see? I know that you were lobbying for the fight to keep going. Were you still able to see out of the eye, or was that just you obviously being a fighter, didn't want the fight to be stopped?
It was a really weird situation. I'm not really sure which blow started it. I think he was when he was in side position, he did a good job keeping his right underhook, and he had his left elbow kind of just like pressed in my eye socket. And I did a good job of keeping my hand near or over it to prevent any big damaging shots. But I think just a couple of those little glancing blows popped some blood vessels because, honestly, I didn't even feel it. And I'm not trying to say I'm tougher than, the average guy or anything. I'm not tougher than anybody. Honestly, there was no pain. There was no anything. It was like my vision was very blurry. I couldn't make anything out. And it was like I was looking through like a little crack, you know, and I didn't feel any pain. So I figured I just got poked in the eye and, maybe some Vaseline got in my eye or something. So when the doctor said the fight was off, I was like, no, like, come on, dude, what the fuck? Like, I was bummed about it, man. I was like, dude, this is my luck. I run into the most perfectly timed knee in lightweight history in my last fight. Now the doctor's stopping this fight. It's like, God damn, can I catch a break? And then when he was announcing the winner, the camera was like right in my face. And I told the camera guy, I was like, put it on my eye. I want to see my eye. And then I saw it was swollen, how bad it was swollen. And I thought to myself, fuck, that sucks because that's a good stoppage. God damn it. So, it was bittersweet, man. It's, I initially, like I said, I didn't realize how bad it was until I saw it on the TV. It's just a fucking bummer, dude, that, we put our heart and soul into this game and, to get finished, when I'm not hurt. I mean, when I say not hurt, I mean physically, like I wasn't hurt, but it just sucks, man. And it was a good stoppage. Keith Peterson did a great job, looking at the eye and calling the doctor in at the right time, because if I take a sharp elbow or a punch to that, it explodes. I don't know where all that blood and fluid is going to go. I don't want it to shoot behind my eye and pop my eye out of the socket or something crazy like that to happen, which would be my luck, unfortunately, just the last couple while, last year or so, I've just ran into a patch of bad luck. And, like I said, Benitez was a great matchup. I felt great. I thought I was winning the fight and then ran into his knee when I threw an overhand. And then, same with this one. I thought the first round was close. I was losing the second round. But with that being said, Devontae, I felt, was slowing down. His breathing was labored. I had 5 days. I didn't train for this fight at all. So it's not that I wasn't tired, but I thought taking him in late in the second round or the third round, I might be able to catch a submission, maybe catch a knockout. But it is what it is, man. Since I've had some bad luck the last year, but I'm looking to turn that around in my next bout.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, I didn't think so. Back to the eye quick. Like, when I was watching, when I saw the eye, I was like, man, where did that come from? Because I didn't see him really land anything clean to cause the swelling like that. I mean, yeah, he was trying to land ground and pound, but I didn't see anything like really land flush while it was happening. I thought you were doing a really good job defending it. And even like in the stand up, I didn't see him land anything clean either. The only thing that went through my mind was possible eye poke that we didn't see or something like that. But I was very surprised when you got up in that round and then I saw the eye. I was like, wow, where did that even come from? And I think the announce team said the same thing. They had no idea where it came from.
Yeah, back to it is I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure. I've watched the film twice and I can't find a really good angle, but trying to remember the fight as best I can. On our feet, he's a very powerful striker, but again, we're fighting in the UFC. We're the best fighters in the world. Everybody's a powerful striker. Leading into that fight, everyone's like, "Oh, you got to be scared of his right hand. His right hand is devastating." I'll be the judge of that. His right hand was hard, but you know what? So was fucking Benitez. So was, Camacho. So everybody's right hands are hard. But anyways, back to the eye. I really feel it was when we were in side position. He had a good underhook, and he was just kind of just giving me little pussy shots, doing damage. It wasn't hurting me. It wasn't like, oh my God, this sucks. But they were just little 1-inch shots with the elbow right in the eye socket, and I'm pretty sure that's what did it. So, like I said, it was nothing devastating. It's nothing I even thought about until I saw it on the TV. So, yeah, dude, it's again just a string of bad luck. I've had over 70 MMA fights, and that's only the second time that's ever happened. So, of course, it's going to be on the biggest stage against a really tough game opponent.
Yeah, doctor stoppages are a major boner killer for a UFC fan, because like you're sitting there and I like to see fights like that go to the third round. I mean, Smith hadn't fought in how long, because he long layoff, and even though you didn't train for the fight, you obviously way more active than he is. Third round, it's almost like the Diaz Masvidal stoppage, right? Like you're like, okay, Diaz, fourth, fifth rounds, that's his game. He dwells on you, he wears damage, and then those fourth and fifth rounds, is when he starts getting crafty. I mean, I picked you in all my picks. I really like the matchup for, plus money on you for one. And then, I mean, even though taking the fight on short notice, I thought you matched up well with him. And again, I don't think he dominated that fight whatsoever.
Sure. And I appreciate that, man. And, it's just one of those things, dude. Like, I'm criticized a lot, or I have been, via social media, like, oh, he has no gas tank. He only has one round. It's like, you look at my history as I knocked Frank Camacho out on 24-hour notice, 48-hour notice, first round. My second fight was Gavin Tucker. I had to lose 30 pounds in 3 weeks, and I take him into the third round. And you want to talk about fucking tired. It had nothing to do with how hard I train or anything. It was just a hard weight cut. So I gassed out in that fight. My Benitez fight, got finished in the first round, and then this fight goes to the second. It just sucks because I'm going on 4 or 5 fights, and I've never really been able to display what I'm really capable of. I guess I've displayed that I have knockout power, of course. I dropped Camacho in 40 seconds. I dropped what's his name Tucker in the first round. Almost finished him twice. But again, I haven't been able to use my wrestling. I haven't been able to use my grappling. Oh, sorry. Hold on 1 second. But there's a lot more I have, that just unfortunately hasn't been able, to be displayed. And Devontae did a great job countering my takedown against the fence. That was really unexpected. I actually just wanted to hold him there because he had the right underhook, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna sack because that's his power hand. So I mean, exactly what I did besides the sweep was exactly what we want to do. Put him up in the fence, let him get his right underhook, and then sag on it and build that arm and that shoulder with lactic acid to take away his power. Next thing I know, I'm being swept, and I remember thinking like, God damn it, that fucking sucks. Good sweep. And then he started grinding the elbow, and next thing I know, the referee's stopping the fight.
Just out of curiosity, and then we can get off the eye. But how does the medical staff take care of that? Is it like a cut me mix situation, or how do they go about handling that?
Honestly, I wish it was like that. I really wish the doctor could have come in, poked a needle in it, drained it, and then we kept fighting. But it's not. That I went to the back. They took me to the hospital. They stretched it out to make sure my inner eye or my eye was okay, and that was it. They sent me home, and I was fine.
So, what made you take the Smith fight on 5 days notice? Like how did that whole situation come about?
Yeah. Well, my manager called me on Saturday, said there was an opening. He basically asked, he's like, hey, how you feel, how you been training, blah blah blah. And I told Jason, I've been dealing with some injuries. I've sparred 3 since December 5th, my fight with Benitez. I've sparred 3 times. And he goes, you think you can put on a show? I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Took a big swig of my beer, set my beer down, and said, let's fucking go. And I showed up. I made weight. And, I had a good game plan, man. And, for not training, I felt great. It's just a shame, man. Like, and I'm not going to sit here and cry the blues, man. It's the fight game, and it is what it is. But, I need a stroke of good luck. I need to catch one of these breaks, hopefully sooner than later, because I know my time in the UFC is coming to an end if I can't put together a win here soon.
That was going to be my next question is, does it make you a little nervous, like when you wanted to taking that fight, because Dana has been so vocal about making cuts and everything else. And then, obviously you had lost 2 prior. So was there any like nervousness going into that? Or see me, like for me as a fan, and I watch every card, like I don't take too much stock into a guy losing a fight on short notice, because I feel like that's, to me, like that is professional. Like if you're going to take a fight on short notice, that's savage as hell. And, you can't really stack that really against them. But, Dana might look at it a little bit different. I don't know. I don't know Dana White, so I don't know how he operates. But,
I don't know him like that. I've had, several conversations with him, not anything too in depth, and with the matchmaker, Sean Shelby McMahon. But you know what? I put myself in their position. I tell them the truth. I haven't been training. I'm not making a prior excuse. I came in swinging. I tried to knock his head off. I felt that, some of my movements weren't as sharp as they should be, obviously, because I didn't train. Some of my reactions weren't as good as they should be because, again, I haven't trained. But with that being said, I'm a fighter, man. And when I get called to fight, I show up and I fight, and I bite down on my mouthpiece. And it's not like I'm going in there, all right, I'm just going to concede and try and survive. I want to knock Devontae's head off. This guy is a 26-year-old or 27-year-old up-and-coming power puncher. And, I'm coming off 2 losses. It is what it is, man. Like I said, I show up, any opponent, anytime, anywhere, and I'm going to try and knock their heads off in shape or out of shape.
Which, I mean, you did in your UFC debut. You fought Frank Camacho, short notice. He didn't make weight. You made weight. You knock him out, and you get the $50K bonus. What was it like to get? So, I mean, I'm still waiting for my day to get a $50K bonus in anything. What is that like to just, know that, okay, I just put on a show and I'm going to earn 50 G's?
Well, 50 G's in the UFC isn't 50 G's. I mean, it sounds on paper, but after you pay everybody off and paid your taxes, I owed some people some money going after the fight, some people that I don't deserve, or I don't think deserve to get paid. But, it was pretty awesome. It was the best moment of my life, and but here's the thing with that is that was a great moment, but I don't want my whole career based on that 1 40-second moment. I'm a full fighter. I wrestled in college for 4 years. I boxed down at Detroit, in Detroit with Kronk, with Carol Rowe, Dave Lester back in the day, James Lee, former UFC vet, Darren Cruikshank. Like, I'm more than a one-hit wonder, and I just, I need to get a little bit. I just need the stars to line up a little bit better for me. I want a full training camp. I fought again. I fought, possibly I think is one of the best fighters at the featherweight division on a 3-week training camp. I weighed 180 pounds and I made 145 pounds in 3 weeks. I showed up, almost finished him twice. And then, my gas tank towards the 3rd round. But again, that was a great moment. And, everyone keeps asking me about that, but I want my career to be more than just that moment.
For sure. I totally, I get it. And I think that, it is something like, would you take another, you're not taking no more short notice then? Like, you want the full camp and you want to show everything that you have at this point.
If it was that easy to say that, because I said that after I fought, I said this after I fought Tucker. I'm not taking another short notice. Next thing I know, short notice. Fought Benitez on 2-week notice. Fucking showed up, fought Benitez, lost again. Said, all right, after this, I'm not taking another short notice. Dude, it's an addiction. It's such an addiction for me to compete that, it's I don't know. It's like a drug addict that, he's trying to go clean, but here's some drugs. Like, fuck it, I'll take them. That's how fighting in the UFC is for me, man. It's like, I love doing it so much and I enjoy it so much, even though I've taken a couple, losses here, just being in the environment and, being able to, show my son. And, my biggest thing is my son is, I really want to show him, how to battle with adversity. And, my whole career so far has just been, or UFC career at least, has been me battling with adversity. And, eventually, things are going to change. The stars are going to line up and I'm going to weather this storm and I'm going to come back. So if another short notice opportunity arises, you bet your ass I'm jumping back in the cage.
Listen, that's so two of my favorite fighters all time, Cowboy, Paul Felder. And that's because those guys are savages. Like, exactly everything that you just said is what they stand for. And so for me as a fan, like, I just think that's awesome. Like, I tend to root for guys that will take chances. Like, to me, it's especially in the MMA world, like you lose a fight, people remember that forever. It's just people just don't forget. And it's like to put yourself in a tough situation. I don't know. There's something about it that it draws me, and it draws really almost everyone on the show. Those are kind of the guys that we tend to root for.
And to touch on that, I've talked to Paul. He trains at Extreme Couture when he's in town, and he said something during one of his weight cuts, his last weight cut when he was fighting DeSanjos on 1 week notice, 5-round fight. He said he said, no matter how hard it was, it ain't cancer. You know what I mean? Like, I fought in 5-day notice, but when you look at it as a whole, it's really not that big of a deal. The worst thing that's going to happen is I'm going to get knocked the fuck out. And then I'm going to wake up the next day. I'm going to have the people around me that love me and, care for me. It's not that bad. My dad has been battling cancer, for the last year. And, that's a lot of my motivation is it's like, fuck, man, I get put in these bad situations. But guess what? At the end of the day, win or lose, the people I love are still around me. Everyone, I'm healthy, even if I get knocked out. And, this isn't I'm not taking a chance with these short notice fights. I'm presented with an opportunity to better my life and better my family's life. If I knock Devontae Smith out, I get $100,000 and my bills are covered for the next couple of years. My mom's bills are covered for the next couple of years. My dad's bills are covered for the next couple of years. I'm very frugal, like I finally, since I've been in the UFC, made my first big purchase and bought a $7,000 car with that $80K bonus. Like it's these aren't chances I'm taking. These are opportunities I'm trying to capitalize on. And again, all at the end game is just trying to better the life of myself and my family in the long run.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome perspective. I'm actually going to clip this and I'm going to put that on our Instagram. I think that is awesome. That's an awesome take on the fight game. And you were talking about your son and how he's a major motivation for you and everything. Would you welcome him entering the fight game sometime? I mean, I know he's young, but in the future,
if that's what he wanted to do, I mean, you know what? Here, it's funny because when you say it initially, it's like, of course not, because it's such a terrible, terrible lifestyle, and it's a very hard, stubborn lifestyle. But here's the thing. I was once that young kid that told my parents that I wanted to fight, and my mom didn't support me, and my dad knew that I was going to do what I wanted because that's just how I was. And it was a lot smoother transition with my dad because he jumped on the bandwagon right away compared to where my mom, it took her a couple of years to adjust to it. So, I would tell him, how hard it is because it's a dirty game, man. There's no 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You can't, there's been so many people that have moved with me from Michigan to pursue, a dream, but they get distracted by financial. For the last 10 years until June 20th, the most money I made in a year, and I'm a college graduate. I'm not saying I'm super educated or anything, but I have a bachelor's degree from Olivet College where I wrestled. I was making, right around in a couple of years, less than $20,000 a year. Try to live off $20,000 a year for 10 years. That's fucking tough. And I did that by myself for 10 years with, if I needed, help, financial help, from my parents, they always helped me, but it's not like they had a lot of money. So, people don't understand. This isn't like, oh, I'm going to go make $50,000 a year. And then when I'm done training or when I'm done working, I'm going to go to the gym and train. It's not like that. This is a fucking lifestyle. I eat, breathe, and sleep MMA to a point to where I'm almost disgusted with it. As when I'm getting ready for a fight, I wake up at 9 a.m. I go do my strength conditioning at the UFC PI. I take from say 9 to 10, and then I'll do like a physical therapy from 10 to 11. Then from 11 to 3, I sleep or rest or spend time with my girlfriend. And then from 3 to 5, back to training, back to sparring. And then 5 and on, I get some clients in there and try and put it together or get some road work in or something. But this is not an easy lifestyle. You cannot be half-assed in this lifestyle. Anybody that tries to be half-assed is going to fall short.
Yeah, so I mean, we've interviewed a lot of fighters, and it's just the schedules are crazy, and that's the one thing we try to get across in our show is like being a fighter is and the fact that you guys are fighters, and I mean anyone that's a fight fan would lobby that all fighters should make way more money. Like even guys that are in the top 15 still are not making tons of money compared to other sports. Like it's as far as like it's one of the toughest sports out there as far as, all the training. You have to pay into your camps. It's not like you play for the Detroit Lions and get to go use their facility. You have to pay for all of that. And that's one thing we try to get across in almost all our shows is for our listeners to understand, like, this sport it's an unforgiving sport.
Yeah, and here's the thing. When the Lions go 0-16, 5 years ago, I'd say 90% of those players, we're talking about the worst record in NFL history, if I'm not mistaken. 0-16, any worse. 90% of those players had a job the next year. Probably 95. They just got distributed amongst other teams or practice squad. If you lose 3 fights in a row where I'm at right now, if I lose my next fight, the only reason I know I'm going to have a next fight, Dana told me, or told my manager that I will get another shot. Like, what do? You go back to, I'm making 5 figures right now. Am I going to go back to a regional show and make $1,000, $500, $1,500? Like, how do you survive off that? And it's such a dangerous game, man. Like, you take a bad injury, you can't fight for a year. Fuck, what are you going to do? It's as much as I hate it, I fucking love it, because who knows where I'm going to be next year. I might be in the top 15, competing for a top 10 spot. Maybe in 2 or 3 years, I'm fighting for a world championship, or maybe after my next fight, I get fucking knocked out and I get cut and I never fight again. It's the unknowing is just so exciting and exhilarating to me. Like, like you look at like a lawyer or a doctor, like, when you get your degree on this day, from this day forward, I'm going to make this much money for the rest of my life, almost regardless of anything. In MMA, I made 80 grand my first fight. I make 10 grand my second fight. You know what I mean? Like, I love it. And just not knowing. And that's the most exciting part to me. And that's the love-hate relationship I have, because, dude, who knows where anybody's going to be, in this game.
That's you're the first person that's put it that way. And listen, if I was in your shoes, I'd be having a goddamn heart attack if I didn't know what money I was making when. I have 2 kids, a wife. I'm like, holy shit, I need to know where my money's coming from. I would not be able to live that lifestyle. So, and that's a compliment to you. That's to be able to freaking live life like that. I wish I had that mindset, because I'd be a lot less stressed.
Yeah, dude. Oh, trust me, I'm not stressed there, man. But it's, my dad always said, like, when I go into wrestling tournaments when I was young, because my first year wrestling, when I was 9 years old, 10 years old, I lost every single match but one match. And, he always just, and then, and progressively I got better as it went on. But when I get my big matches, I'd be so nervous and I'd be so afraid of losing. And my dad always said something, and I've always said it, he said it since I was 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. Pressure is my pleasure. And the more pressure you have, the more you want to embrace it, and the more you want to enjoy it, because there's going to be a point in my life, whether it's next year, whether it's 10 years from now, I won't be able to compete. I physically and mentally won't be able to do it anymore. So take all the pressure I have right now, bottle it up, and enjoy it. And that's what I've been doing, man. Even though, like I said, even though I've had 3 losses in the UFC right now, I'm not down. I'm not out. I'm going to be ready to go my next go. Hopefully I get a full camp. If I don't give a fuck. I'm showing up. I'm swinging leather. And again, I'm going to enjoy this pressure, because my next fight is make or break. If I lose my next fight, I'm going to get cut, and I should be cut. You don't need a fucking loser in your organization. I lost 4 fights in a row, no matter if I fought on 1 day notice or 8-week notice. I get it. And, it'll be a little road back to get back to the UFC. So think of this pressure. My whole career is on my next fight. If I win, I continue. If I lose, who fucking knows where I'm going to be? So it's exciting, and I'm excited to see what happens.
So I got to ask, is it true that you have 47 amateur fights?
Yeah, man, I fought a lot back.
Holy shit.
I fought everybody. Do you remember Kyle Prepelic? He fought in the UFC. I fought him a couple times. Jesse Gross, fought him 3 times. Bellator vet. I fought Daquan Townsend. He's a UFC middleweight. I fought and beat him twice. Yeah, dude, back in Michigan, you could fight every single week if you wanted, and because there's no regulations. So when I was in college, I'd show up to fights, and if they needed someone to step in, I was their huckleberry. I'd step in, and win or lose, I always fucking fought.
That is this craziest thing. I thought that was a typo, and when I saw that, I was like, oh my God. I feel like most guys, you see like maybe tops 10 amateur fights, and then they're turning pro. 47, that is savage as hell.
It's just
Um,
show how much
go
I
ahead.
just love. I genuinely love to compete. I mean, it's not like, oh, I just want to go in there and fuck people up. I mean, that's a part of it, but I just genuinely love the feeling of competing. I love the pressure. I love the nerves. I love the anxiety. I crave it. And it's funny because every time I'm in the back dressing room, I'm nervous as fuck. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to do this anymore. Every time it's like, even my last fight, the time before, there will be at one point of doubt when I'm in the dressing room, like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, oh, fuck, I'm so nervous. And then I smile and just realize it and embrace it and love it. I just genuinely love to compete.
When you get nervous, like what is it like? What does that nervousness feel like? Like, is it almost like shit yourself or throw up like nervous?
No, I've competed so much that it's not. I've never thrown up, but it's just the unknowing, man. It's like, am I going to be rich after this fight, or am I going to be poor? Am I getting cut from the UFC? Is my career continuing? It's just all these things, I'm very grateful that the UFC has even assigned me a mental coach. And Micah at the UFC, man, shout out to Micah, man, former White Sox baseball player, and he's been we've been it's never really been a factor because I enjoy the nerves, but he's taught me a lot of ways to deal with it, and to embrace it, and to a point to where when I'm in the cage, I'm not even nervous anymore. The most nervous part for me is going from the hotel to the venue, and that's when I start to get the feels of doubt. But once I get there and I start warming up, I start loosening up, I feel like a champ. And like I said, there's a couple little exercises that I do that are visible that nobody would ever know. Like, excuse me, I'm eating lunch over here with my girlfriend, but there's a
All right.
couple exercises, that we do, like that you'd see, like, for instance, when I start to get nervous in the cage, one of my nerve outs, I'll start rubbing my feet on the canvas, because the canvas it's a different texture than anything else I train in. Usually it's like a wrestling mat we train on, or something soft. The canvas is more like a carpet feeling. So, like, anytime I feel any nerves or any self-doubt, I'll start rubbing my feet on the canvas, and that centers me. It centers my thought process to get rid of the nerves, and to place me in the here and now instead of what could happen, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. So I got to ask, how does your girlfriend handle the fight game? So we've talked to a bunch of fighters, obviously, and some of them, have been. We've had a couple guys on here that have been through multiple girlfriends, because they're like, it's really hard to find one that can support me through what we have already discussed as a savage, just crazy sport.
Man, if I win, she cries. If I lose, she cries. She cries like a little bitch all the time. It's it is what it is, man. She's very, very supportive, and she doesn't like to see me get hurt. But here's the thing, this is what she signed up for, and it is what it is. And she's not going to. There's only a couple people in my life that, actually, there isn't. There's nobody in my life that could change what I love and what I do. She could beg and plead me to stop doing this, and unfortunately it's just not going to happen. And I'm so glad that I have the girlfriend I do, because she knows that, and she doesn't try to talk me out of it. If she's very encouraging the whole way. And I even if I do see some doubt, like with not from her, but in myself, she always lifts me up, and she's very supportive, and she cries every time, and I just tell her to stop being a little bitch.
Did she cry extra hard when she saw your eye?
Yeah, she always cries. If I blacken the other guy's eye up, she'll cry with that too.
So she gets mad that you beat other people up too, and she cries about that.
Yeah,
So last question here, and then I got like a couple little things, and then we'll let you go.
Sure.
Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Is Michael Chandler still at Extreme Couture?
No, he hasn't been there in almost 10 years.
I was gonna say he's at Top Team now, right?
I believe he's at Top Team. And
okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
That guy was a crazy training partner, man. Because I was an amateur when he was in Bellator, and man, he did not care if you're an amateur. He doesn't care if you're smaller than him or bigger than him. That guy is a fucking animal, and he goes straight at you and fucks you up every round. So I was glad when he left.
So he wasn't one that you enjoyed training with. Which is it good or bad to be a hardo like that in the gym? Because like Joaquin Buckley has gotten a ton of shit because apparently he's a douchebag. Like he doesn't care. He tried to knock you out every time in sparring. Where like that's kind of like a no. You don't really do that apparently. I never fought, so I don't know.
Sure. No, no. I'll clear that up. Like, I'm very, man, like when I was younger in my early 20s, I think there is a time and place where you need to fight in the gym. You need to get in the pecking order. You need that feeling of combat. But I'm at a point in my career that was my 70th fight I just had. I have had gym wars with some of the best in the world. I remember Gray Maynard knocking me out unconscious and Ron Frazier having to rush in and save me in the middle to the end of a round once because Gray was beating my dead body. Martin Kampman, he's knocked me out. You know, he's clinched me and kneed me in the face. Kevin Lee, you know, I'm not. I used to be about that. I used to love to get in there and mix it up and throw big shots. But dude, I'm getting too old, and every time I get hit now, it feels like I'm injured. So, I'm very particular about who I train with, and mostly even now I spar. Even when I spar, I'm even more particular because these guys, these up and coming tough guys in the regional circuit are like, oh, he's in UFC. I want to show him how tough I am. Fuck that. I usually only spar with guys that I pay because if they hurt me, they're not getting paid. So that's kind of like a little liability thing I have going on.
Which is smart, yeah, because I've heard some horror stories about people sparring in the gym and stuff, and it doesn't make sense. Like to me, if you're in a gym and you're a team, like I mean, it makes sense, but like if you're a team all training at the same gym, like you should all be trying to make each other better, not hurting one another. Like so, we talked to Glory MMA, they're really good to us, and like that's kind of the culture they have there is like everyone just kind of in it together to make each other better. Like there's no, and that's why James Krause and Buckley kind of had words and stuff because Buckley wanted to train there and that whole thing. So it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. Although it is a team, there's a lot of egos in MMA gyms, man, and I'm guilty of it. There's no doubt. Like before I got signed to the UFC, guy would get signed to the UFC. I'm like, dude, I fucked this guy up, and then I'd be like, all right, we're gonna spar, and I'm gonna go hard on this guy to show him that I belong there, and he doesn't. You know what I mean? I'm guilty of it. Everybody's guilty of it. I mean, we're talking 5-6 years ago. I used to do. I don't do it anymore. But it's just an ego thing, man. We're all testosterone fed MMA fighters, man. It's crazy, but yeah, I'm very particular about my partners now because I'm sick of gym wars.
All right, last two things. Usman or Burns tonight? Who do you got?
I'm taking Burns. I got plus 230. You know what? And I'm really thinking about taking. I think I'm going to do Burns at plus 230, and then I'm going to do a parlay. I'm taking Burns at plus 230 and under 4.5.
You got to put anybody listening, put money on Macy Barber. She's an underdog plus money in this fight.
But Grasso is just going to pick her apart from the outside and win a boring decision. I hope Barber gets that power shot and knocks her out. I feel, Barber and I have a very similar style. She's a slugger. She's going to come in swinging. She finishes fights. You look at her resume. She's finishing fights in the first, second round. You look at Grasso. She hasn't finished a fight since 1992. She's a long-rangey striker. I think that she's going to do a Devontae Smith and try and pick Barber out from the outside and win a boring decision.
I hope not. I have Barber in a ton of parlays. I had Miranda Maverick. That fight just got banged, which I'm so upset about because that fight was going to be – that was my potential fight of the night. Jillian Robertson, Miranda Maverick, like those two women are savages, but Jillian Robertson backed out because of some – not COVID-related, but some illness.
Why she backed out, I saw that this morning, though.
But anyway, man.
I thought Bobby Green had a really bad weight cut, and he ended up collapsing.
Which is another fight. I'm a huge Jim Miller fan, so we're from like the Jersey area.
I'll fight Jim Miller tonight. Let's go. I'll fucking show up.
How far are you from the Apex?
I can see it from my fucking backyard.
It's that close. Damn, that must be nice. So anyway, man, so we finished the interviews with a segment called The Floor is Yours. So we allow you, however long it takes you to plug any sponsors, say anything you want to say, ask us a question, whatever you want. The floor is yours. Take it away.
Hey, man, I really just appreciate you guys having me. Shout out to Manscaped. Shout out to Evolve Nutrition. Shout out to Self Equipment. Shout out to Rhino Elite, who just came out with a killer clothing line, a Justin Jaynes clothing line. just shout out to all my friends and family. Shout out to the UFC, Mick Maynard, Sean Shelby, Dana White, for giving me these repeated opportunities. And shout out to, positive going forward, man. This bad luck's gonna turn around for me. And in my next fight, hopefully I get a full camp, and you'll be able to see a true Justin Jaynes in there, where I'm slugging, wrestling, grappling, doing all the above, and can put on a show for the fans.
Yeah, man. We are, so whenever you come on the show, you are now, you have fans for life. We're going to be following you. We're going to be sending positive vibes your way. It's going to start turning around 2021. It's started rough. Forget about it. We're going to turn it around, and, hopefully, fingers crossed, things start turning around, and we start swinging in the right direction. And we really appreciate you taking the time on a Saturday to come hang out with us and talk some MMA, and we would love to have you back on in the future.
Yeah, anytime you guys want, just give me a holler, and all I ask is text me in the morning, because I'm a very bad planner, and I've missed more interviews, not because I'm an asshole, or I just genuinely forget. And so anytime you guys want, just text me in the morning. I'm ready to go.
Awesome, man. We really appreciate it. Thank you again. And Carrie, take us out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Coffee N KOs Crew has called an end to this interview, declaring the winner by knockout, Justin, the Guitar Hero Jaynes.